for Celtic, the club he has graced for 11 years. Or he could give these loyal supporters the best possible boost for next season by accepting a new contract to lead Celtic into a new era. The response of the fans could prove irresistible, and one thing's for sure, they'll want to end the season with a stylish flourish. And these are the men who will try to extend an unbeaten 16-match league run. Tony Mowbray and Mike Galloway are suspended, and Gary Gillespie is unwell. But Mark McGinlay is back in defence, and Steve Fulton retains his place in midfield, with under-21 international Brian O'Neill on the bench with Tommy Coyne. And this is the young man who has taken the Hibs supporters by storm in the last week or two. 18-year-old Graham Donald has made 2 appearances as substitute and 2 starts for the club, scoring in each of his last 3 matches. He joined Hibs from Gairdoch United and brings a new refreshing style to the attack. And he has the chance for the first time to link up with Keith Whyte, who returns after missing the last 4 matches. Hunter is unfit, so Neil Orr comes into the defence. And the referee this afternoon, the highly experienced figure of Jim McCluskey from Stewarton. Celtic manager Liam Brady invited the Celtic supporters to turn out in numbers to encourage Paul McStay to remain with the club, and they have responded very well. It's a very healthy crowd inside Celtic Park, bearing in mind the fact that it's the end of a very long season. Celtic with the major incentive of qualifying for the UEFA Cup. Whyte offers himself from the back. And McStay. Morris playing it short. Nicholas has found space. That's great play from Celtic. Well, a fine interchange at the end of the penalty box. That was Charlie Nicholas at his best. He may not be entirely happy with the finishing effort, but what a good build-up it was. It's the way Nicholas finds space for himself. He comes off the marker, calls for the ball from Morris, plays it into the gap there to John Collins, an excellent return pass, and the shot rather pulled away to the target. Keith Wright's header, yes, Pat McGinlay. Well cut up by Fulton. The offside flag was up against Jerry Craney. Well, he had no chance of reaching the pass. That's why the referee has allowed the advantage rule. Mitchell did well there. He got away from Morris. He took a knock in the knee. Here's Mitchell again playing it in. And there's an own goal. Derek Whyte putting that beyond his goalkeeper. Well, frustration there for Derek Whyte. Wow, what an amazing incident. Graham Mitchell did very well. It's a very dangerous ball slanted in. Whyte had to go to play it, but he left Gordon Marshall completely helpless. Well, the goal coming in 10 minutes. Liam Brady on the left of the picture there. The Celtic manager facing that early setback. Weir intercepts Whyte's pass. Celtic are exposed now in defence. Here's Mickey Weir. Support coming to the left from Donald. Pace in the attack has been lost rather. Mickey Weir sets it up here for McGinlay. Pat McGinlay tried to pass the ball into the far corner of the net. Well, it was a cool piece of finishing, but not effective enough to beat Gordon Marshall. A great build-up this from Hibs. Mickey Weir playing it in the path of McGinlay, tried to stroke that into the corner. But Gordon Marshall made a good save. Fulton to Craney. Here's Nicholas, now McStay. Shooting chance to Paul McStay. John Burridge doing well to keep that out. Well, he's out of his goal, Burridge. Headed away by Mitchell. Peels there for some pushing inside the area. There's Fulton again. And this time it's received gratefully by John Burridge. Well, what a character he is. Well, the shot which he had to handle initially from Paul McStay turned out to be extremely troublesome because it bubbled right in front of him. See that here? It turned out to be very difficult indeed. He beat it out with his chest. Then Charlie Nichols is trying to take advantage. Burridge followed him all the way to the edge of the penalty area. Then was going to make a tackle, I think. And as the ball was sent across, the Hibs defence stood firm. Fulton makes an angle inside. That was well read by McGinlay, the pass intended for McStay. McGinlay's strength pays off, holding off Steve Fulton. Here's Keith Whyte. Judged the pass well to drag the ball away from Derek Whyte. Now Weir. Looking for Graham Donald inside the area, and yet another troublesome defensive header for Ron Marshall. That was headed back by Chris Morris. It's a good ball by Mickey Weir. Donald was the threat. The header came from Morris, and that was very close indeed. Hibs are back defending. This is Derek Whyte. Interception by Hamilton. Collins to Nicholas. This is Joe Miller. Good running by Miller, and back goes Mitchell to concede the corner kick. We're into time added on for injuries in the first half. The Celtic press for an equaliser. Long corner again, this time Burridge is committed, and that's very well taken by John Burridge. Stretching his arms there. Holding up play for a moment or two. Looking for width on the right. Certainly where he played the ball. Hamilton getting a touch ahead of Tom Boyd, but it's Hibs who go in at half-time, leading by 1-0. Derek Whyte provided that goal with the header from the Graham Mitchell cross, which beat Gordon Marshall. A very good ball from Mitchell and an unlucky Derek Whyte. But Hibs have been extremely efficient in defence and in midfield and up front. And Celtic, who have had lots of possession, have found it very difficult to break them down. The second half will be fascinating. Celtic 0, Hibs 1. If Celtic required any further incentive for this afternoon, the news from Tynecastle that Hearts are leading by 1-0 would surely provide that. And Celtic certainly know now, if there are any doubts before the match, that Hibs are proving to provide a very stern test. An offside flag up there, faulting that Celtic move. Brian Hamilton playing wide on the right against John Collins. He's been very effective at keeping Collins under control. Here's McStay. Wants it back from Nicholas. Allows Collins to step in. Good interception again by McGinlay. Hustled there by Collins, but he did well, McGinlay. This is Mickey Weir. Away from Derek Whyte. Ryan Hamilton and McLear. Donald and Wright wait in the middle. There's Wright. And an excellent chance on the rebound for Brian Hamilton. But that was superb goalkeeping by Gordon Marshall. It had to be to deny Hibs after a splendid sweeping move upfield. It was Mickey Weir who released Brian Hamilton. This ball played in. Wright got there, but Marshall split himself to make the block, and Hamilton couldn't get that on target. McStay. Joe Miller. Morris. Miller again. McStay helps it on for Fulton. Nicholas to McStay. This is Boyd. Now Collins. And it's blocked to the line by Burridge. Jerry Crady was the player denied. Well, Celtic replying in kind with superb football again. It was patient, it was accurate. Collins played it across. Crady turned it towards goal, and Burridge just managed to keep that out. Coyne looking for Nicholas. He's found him. That's cut up again by Willie Miller. McGinlay stopped by Morris. In steps McStay. Coyne wants the ball on the right. Rennie's gone through the middle. Steve Fulton's header. Came a long way, Steve Fulton, to get on the end of that. Forced Burridge into a good save. It was an excellent cross by Tommy Coyne, and Fulton came racing in here. It was well taken by Burridge. That's for Brian Hamilton, a powerful runner on the right. Matched by Tom Boyd. And a good piece of defending that by Boyd. He'd been sucked in a little, leaving some space in the flank for Hamilton, but he recovered very swiftly. Mitchell was off at the option of the short corner to right. He's rejected that. McGinley's header! A second for Hibs! And now the Celtic European dream could be in tatters. An excellent corner kick from Graham Mitchell, a near post ball. Pat McGinlay getting up so well here. Got a vital touch on. And it was an excellent goal for Hibs. Well, a smile on the face of Pat McGinlay, collecting his 12th goal of the season from midfield. What a task now faces Celtic. Well, I'll be asking some questions, I think, about the ease with which McGinlay won that. But they're now exposed again defensively as Keith Wright breaks. Mickey Weir is racing through the middle. So is Graham Donald. And Derek Whyte turns out behind for another corner. Ryan Hamilton shot! And what a goal that would have been! A stunning volley there, directly from the corner kick. Such variety shown by Hibs this afternoon. Take a look at the way Hamilton takes this, and Marshall wouldn't have reached that, I'm sure. It was a great effort. Boyd, Fulton. Donald made the challenge, which conceded the corner kick to Celtic. Played short this time. Boyd to Craney. Target there is Derek Whyte, and his marker was Tommy McIntyre. Fulton's in swinger. What a pushing there by Burridge on Nicholas. The shot from Collins! Rattling off the post. Well, there's the push by Burridge on Nicholas. And this header out fell straight to Collins. Now look how well he struck this. Burridge had no answer that time. It came off the post. This is Boyd. Coyne trying to hold off Orr. Nicholas is at a quiet match by his standards. Trying something magical towards the end. Here's Paul McStay. Back from Craney to Fulton. Good play by Fulton. He scored! It may be too little too late for Celtic. It's still a fine goal. It's got the Hibs defence napping here. Paul McStay doing well. Craney with a layoff. There was time here for Steve Fulton to pick his way into the penalty box, stepping away from challenges, and then that stabbed shot in the end sneaked in at the post. So Steve Fulton scoring right on the final whistle. It's his third goal of the season, and the final whistle goes. Hibs have beaten Celtic in the last league match of the season, and the effect of that is to deny Celtic a place in Europe next season, and I wonder if that will have any bearing on the decision to be taken by Paul McStay. He faces a season at Celtic Park without European football. He's coming across to the jungle to the Celtic supporters to applaud them, and could this be a farewell gesture by Paul McStay? Coming across to the ground now, throwing his jersey into the crowd, and it could be a final gesture for one of the most popular players ever to play at Celtic Park. He's been a credit to the game, a credit to the club, a credit to his country, and there's the appreciation shown by these Celtic supporters as Paul McStay disappears up the tunnel. Is it for the last time? The final score at Celtic Park: Celtic 1, Hibs 2.
Derek, those pictures of Paul McStay throwing his shirt to the fans, we'll be looking at them in our Sunday morning papers tomorrow. Obviously significant.
Well, it is. You could look at it two ways. Obviously, it could have been his last game and he was just throwing the shirt into the crowd. Or he'd just like to thank the Celtic fans for the last 10 years. He's probably not made up his mind yet, Rob. But just in case he didn't see the Celtic fans again, he just threw his shirt in.
So you listed A and B. Which one are you going for?
I think, well, it's a bit unfair to say where he'll go, but I think there's a fair chance that he will go, yeah.
Our information is that it's Liverpool or Manchester United, both of whom are waiting in the wings with big offers for him. Would you go along with that?
Well,
And is that a good move for him?
I think every club in Europe would want Paul McStay. He's such a class player, you know, and until he says that he wants to go, then it is all speculation. There's no doubts about that. And I think for Liverpool and Manchester United, I'm sure if he came up for grabs, they'd be the first couple in with big bucks.
OK, well, let's hear what the man himself had to say when he spoke after the match.
Just at the end of the game, I couldn't go off the park without going and thanking those fans. I know the other Celtic fans for what they've done for me over the last 10 years. And when I threw my jersey into the jungle, it was just a gesture of saying thank you. I don't know where my future lies, but I would regret come the new season if I did have to move and I never thanked the Celtic fans properly. And that was why I had to go and thank them today.
If we're right, and that is Paul McStay away from Celtic, is that bad news, very bad news?
It is for Celtic, there's no doubt about that. He is a class player, one of the top players in Britain, if not Europe, Paul McStay. And, but if he does go, then Celtic have got to get on with it. I think even if Paul does stay, I think Celtic do have to go out and buy another 2 or 3 players anyway for next season.
And maybe that means it's a new chapter, and there's no doubt about it for Celtic.
Well, there is. I think Liam Brady's realised the